What's going on, everyone? It's Tyler with K10 Realty, where we help open the door to your real estate education. Today, I wanted to answer the question, should you sell your house now or wait in 2022? So first off, let me talk about my current market state. I actually work in the San Francisco Bay Area. I mainly focus in the South Bay or the Silicon Valley, mainly Santa Clara County. So if we take a look at the graph, January of this year, 2022, the total number of listings on the market was 627. Now, if we go a year back, we can see that the total number of listings was 1,348. So that's quite a difference. This year we have less than half of the amount that we had last year, and last year we still had low inventory. So it's not all bad news. If we look at what's trending, inventory actually is ticking up. We have about 926 active listings on the market right now as of Tuesday the 22nd. Now, is that number going to increase for the rest of 2022? Typically, people start to list their homes in the spring and summertime as well. So we may be looking at a little bit more inventory as we come out of the wintertime. All right, so let's get into it. If you're thinking about selling your house in 2022, here's some benefits you should know about. So if you hear people talk about the real estate market being hot, really what that means is we're in a seller's market, right? So sellers are in the driver's seat in regards to the transaction. So let me break that down for you. There's really low inventory still. There's still a high amount of buyers out there. And what that does is it creates competition among the buyers, which if you're a seller is a really good thing, right? Because the opportunity to receive multiple offers on your property, have a quick close, offers coming in non-contingent is very likely in that scenario. So the more buyers you have that are looking at your property, the higher chance that you have of the property getting bid up, and obviously in turn you making more money on the sale or transaction. Now, if you're on the buying side of that transaction, you have high competition, right? But if you're on the selling side of that transaction, low inventory means that you don't have a lot of competition. And when I talk about competition on the seller side, I mean other homes listed on the market at the same time that your home is listed, right? Obviously, if there's more homes on the market when you decide to list your home, buyers have more options, right? So the pool of buyers gets spread out among the active inventory. So less competition for you as a seller is always a good thing. So another thing that crosses a lot of sellers' minds are, should you renovate or should you update your property before you list your home on the market? In today's market, that might not be as important to some buyers. So some buyers are lowering their standard and willing to take on a home that has or needs a little bit more upgrades, updates, renovations. They're willing to take those projects on themselves because the amount of inventory is still low and it's hard for them to buy a home as it is. You know, obviously the turnkey properties that we come into are a lot more attractive to a bigger pool of buyers. So the competition level on those homes is going to be higher. Now, what does that mean for you as a seller? So if you're on the fence about making those type of upgrades, right now could be a perfect time to list your home without having to make those upgrades, or listing your home as is. And obviously you want to run the numbers with your trusted real estate advisor to see if it's worth it. Also, you want to consider the timeline it's going to take to be able to make and complete these renovations as well too. But in the end, if you don't have the funds, or you don't want to deal with the headache, or you just want to offload your property as soon as possible, this could be a reason to do it in 2022. But whether you think it's a good time to sell your home now or not, here's some things to also keep in mind. The first thing I want to ask you is, what's your plan after you sell your home? Do you have another property to live in? You know, what's your long-term plan for once that home does get into contract? Because you have to consider you're going to be on the other side of the transaction. So the competition level that was once a benefit to you as a seller, you're going to be in now moving forward, right? You're going to be competing with multiple buyers. You're going to be competing with multiple offers that most likely are non-contingent on that property that you like. So you always have to think about the other side and being on the other side of the transaction. Now, obviously, if you have another place to live or you own another property, you know, your situation's probably a little bit different there. Some people decide that they might want to rent for a little bit. So you just have to think about, once you actually do sell your home, what's your living situation going to be like and what is your plan? You don't want to just try to cash in on the equity with not having a plan, because all that built up equity could go to waste if you don't take the proper necessary steps to plan out your next move. So in turn, it might be hard to find another property. You might have to lower your standards, right? If you're looking to purchase something that is attractive to a lot of people, that's turnkey, if that's something you're looking for, the level of competitiveness is going to be there. And you have to consider as well too that there's not going to be as many options out there. And you also have to think about things that are eating away at your built up equity, right? You're going to sell your house, you want to cash in on the profits, but at the same time, when you do sell your house, there's certain fees involved, right? You have the escrow, title fees. You obviously have to pay your real estate advisor. You have to pay the buyer's agents for bringing their buyers into your listing, right? So all things considered, you have to really crunch and know the numbers. So talk to your trusted real estate advisor, get some clarity on if it makes sense to cash in on that equity and sell your home. But most importantly, you need to have a plan after you sell your home. What are you going to do? Now, after you sell your home, you could potentially rent for a while, but let me ask you this. If you're going to be paying the same amount of rent that you were paying on your mortgage, you're kind of working backwards at that point. I'm sure the reason that you got into home ownership was to be able to build up that equity. Now, if you're selling your home to cash in on that equity, that's great. But if you're doing it and just having to go rent another place, you're almost taking a step backwards. So unless you can find a rental property for way cheaper than what your mortgage was, it may not be worth it. Now, you can always list your home contingent on you finding a replacement property, right? Which means that your home won't sell until you actually find a replacement property. But what that does in the buyer's eyes, it does make your property a little bit less attractive. Some buyers are willing to work with that, but it's just something to keep in mind. Another thing that you can consider is having the buyers give you some type of rent back, which means after the close of escrow, after the ownership is transferred, you sell your home, the buyers take over ownership, you're able to actually stay in your property for a certain amount of time, which gives you kind of a buffer to be able to find your replacement property. You don't necessarily have to stress as much about it, because no one knows how long it's going to take you to actually find that replacement property. It could be a couple weeks, it could be a couple months, right? So the more time that you have to be able to look into that, the better, especially given the market. So I hope this brief information gave you some clarity on things to think about, and if you should sell your home in 2022 or if you should wait. The number one takeaway that I want you to get from this video is just to make sure you have a plan. If you found any value in this video, please consider liking the video, subscribe to my channel. It really does help grow my business and my channel out. And if you're looking for a trusted real estate advisor here in the Santa Clara County or anywhere within the Bay Area, drop me a line. And if you're looking to move out of the Bay Area as well, I'll be able to hook you up with a good agent anywhere across the United States. And as always, if you have any questions, concerns, or comments, please reach out to me. I'd love to help you out. And until next time, I hope you have a good one and be easy.